Welcome back to our channel History Coins HD. As you that old is gold, but these rare Lincoln penny coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1, because today, we're diving into the story of a small, almost forgotten piece of American history. It's a coin minted in 1960, and while it may look ordinary at first glance, there's something special about it that has collectors going absolutely wild. So grab your magnifying glasses and stay with me till the end, because this unassuming little coin could be worth a fortune. Yes, we're talking serious life-changing money, and now, let's talk about 1960. It was a big year for the United States. John F. Kennedy was running for president, the space race was in full swing, and the country was entering a new era of progress and ambition. During this pivotal year, the U.S. Mint released coins as usual, but in that process, something unexpected happened. A variation was created. A small difference that would later become a goldmine for collectors who knew what to look for. One of the most sought-after coins from that year is the 1960 Lincoln cent. Now, you might be thinking, a penny? Really? But trust me, this isn't just any penny. In fact, it's the rare 1960 small-date Lincoln cent with a specific mint error that makes it incredibly valuable. What makes this coin so special is the size of the date numerals and the unique details on the coin's surface. To the untrained eye, it might not look like much. But to a collector, those subtle differences mean everything. You see, the U.S. Mint made two variations of the 1960 penny, one with a large date and one with a small date. The small date version is rarer, especially when it comes from the Denver Mint, marked by the tiny D under the year. But here's where things get really interesting. Some of these coins were struck with doubling on the date or other parts of the design, a classic example of a double die error. This kind of minting mistake happens when the coin is struck more than once but slightly off from the original position, creating a shadow-like effect on the numbers or letters. These double die coins are incredibly desirable, and now, imagine finding one of these in brilliant uncirculated condition, untouched, perfectly preserved for over 60 years. That's when the value skyrockets. These aren't just collector's items anymore, they're investment pieces. Some have sold at major auctions for jaw-dropping prices because of their rarity, condition, and historical significance, and what's even more amazing is that these coins were once part of everyday life. They were handed out as change at diners, tucked into piggy banks, dropped into vending machines. Who knows, one of these might be sitting in an old jar in your garage right now, waiting to be discovered. So if you're the kind of person who saves old change, or maybe inherited a coin collection from a parent or grandparent, it's time to take a closer look. Because the right 1960 Lincoln cent, especially one with a rare error or in pristine mint state, could fetch an unbelievable amount at auction. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. If you're lucky enough to come across one of these rare coins in exceptional condition, it could be worth anywhere from $93,000 to as much as $130,000. Yes, you heard that right, what once bought a piece of candy might now buy a luxury car or even part of a house. It's truly fascinating how a tiny piece of copper can carry so much history and so much value. If this kind of discovery gets your heart racing as much as it does mine, don't forget to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel for more hidden treasure stories, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single valuable find. Thanks for watching, and remember, your next great discovery might just be in your pocket change. Top 2, we're talking about a coin from the United States that was minted in 1966, one that might look like your everyday pocket change, but in the right condition and with the right features, could be worth a small fortune. So, make sure to watch all the way through, because this isn't just a lesson in history, it could be a key to unlocking hidden wealth that's been lying around unnoticed. Now let's rewind to the year 1966. The Beatles were topping charts, NASA was preparing for the Apollo missions, and America was deep in the heart of cultural change. Amid all this movement and momentum, the U.S. Mint was quietly producing coins that millions of Americans would handle every day: nickels, dimes, quarters, half dollars. But tucked among them, one coin in particular would eventually become a mystery, a rare gem that collectors today are racing to find. Back in 1965, due to rising silver prices, the U.S. Mint stopped using 90% silver in most of its coins. By 1966, the coinage system had shifted fully to a clad composition, layers of copper and nickel instead of precious metals. But here's where things get intriguing. While most 1966 coins followed the new metal standards, rumors began circulating over the years that a very small number of transitional error coins slipped through the cracks. These are coins struck using the wrong metal, or with leftover dies from earlier years, leading to rare and valuable anomalies. One of the most talked about coins from this year is the 1966 Roosevelt dime and the 1966 Washington quarter. While they were supposed to be clad, certain examples show unusual traits like higher weight, unusual coloration, or even traces of silver, suggesting that some may have been accidentally struck on leftover silver planchets. These rare mistakes weren't caught by the mint and made their way into circulation, hiding in plain sight for decades. Another important thing to know is that in 1966, coin collectors had it tough. There were no mint marks on coins that year. The mint had temporarily removed mint marks to discourage collecting during a time when coin shortages were blamed on hobbyists. So if you're looking for a coin from 1966, you won't see a D or S under the date, which makes identifying a rare one even trickier and more thrilling. Collectors love a good challenge, and coins from 1966 offer just that. The most valuable ones are those struck with striking errors, off-center strikes, double dies, or struck on a wrong planchet. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that feels just like the others, but with a small, nearly invisible difference that makes it worth more than most people earn in a year. It's a modern-day treasure hunt, and anyone with a good eye and a bit of luck could stumble across one of these treasures. Of course, condition plays a huge role. A coin that's been sitting in a drawer for decades, untouched and perfectly preserved, can be worth dramatically more than one that's been passed from hand to hand. Grading matters too. Coins rated MS65 or higher, meaning they're in near-perfect mint state condition, are where the true value lies. Now let's talk real numbers, because this is the part that gives every coin lover goosebumps. If you have a rare 1966 US coin, particularly one with an error, a transitional planchet, or in pristine, uncirculated condition, it could be worth anywhere from $85,000 to as much as $115,000. That's right. A single coin from 1966, maybe one you've overlooked or set aside in a change jar, could be worth more than some brand new sports cars or even a down payment on a house. All because of a minting error, a metal variation, or simply the miracle of preservation. So, if you've got old coins lying around, especially from the mid-1960s, don't brush them off. Get a magnifier, do some research, or take them to a trusted coin expert. Because the next big discovery might just be hiding in your collection. Top 3. We're going back in time to talk about a special coin that came out of Denver in 1961. It's a piece of American currency that's so often overlooked, but for those who know what to look for, it could be worth a staggering amount of money. That's right, we're talking about the 1961 United States coin. And while millions were made, there's a secret behind this particular mint year that makes certain versions of it incredibly rare, highly collectible, and yes, even shockingly valuable. So stick with me, because if you've got one of these coins, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Now let's rewind to the early 60s. It was a time of American optimism. John F. Kennedy had just taken office, the space race was heating up, and the U.S. economy was booming. While most people were focused on world events and rock and roll records, the U.S. Mint was quietly churning out coins for everyday use. But as with many things in history, a few small mistakes slipped through, and those mistakes would later become prized treasures. The Denver Mint, marked by the small d beneath the date on the coin, was responsible for minting a large number of coins in 1961. But what sets some of these coins apart isn't the design itself, it's the flaws. Yes, you heard that right. In the world of coin collecting, flaws are often the most valuable feature. Whether it's a double die, an off-center strike, a repunched mint mark, or a transitional planchet error, these tiny imperfections are what make a coin go from pocket change to payday. One of the most sought-after examples from 1961 is the Lincoln cent with the D mint mark. Most are common, but a select few have an extremely rare repunched mint mark, what collectors call an RPM. This happens when the mint mark is stamped more than once in slightly different positions, creating a shadowed or doubled look. It may be barely noticeable to the naked eye, but under magnification, it reveals an incredible mistake that was never meant to happen. That's exactly what makes it so valuable. There are also 1961 D coins that were struck on planchets intended for other denominations, or planchets made from incorrect metal compositions. These rare transitional errors are the kind of finds that even seasoned collectors dream of discovering. And when one of these coins surfaces in excellent condition, especially one that's been kept in pristine, uncirculated quality for decades, its value doesn't just rise, it explodes. Condition matters more than most people realize. A coin that's been bouncing around in circulation for 60 years might only be worth face value. But one that was set aside, untouched, carefully stored in a collection or a coin roll, and preserved in mint state condition, now that's where the real treasure lies. Those are the coins that fetch the highest prices at auction, and they are exactly what serious collectors are willing to pay top dollar for. What's even more amazing is that these rare coins could still be hiding in plain sight. In old penny jars, in inherited collections, or even in boxes of unsorted coins from estate sales or antique stores. Every once in a while, someone finds one, and their story becomes part of the legend. Imagine reaching into your drawer and discovering a coin that turns out to be one of the rarest from 1961. A coin struck in error, preserved in perfect condition, and now worth more than you ever imagined, and that brings us to the big reveal you've been waiting for. If you happen to come across a rare 1961 D coin, especially one with a repunched mint mark or a rare striking error, and in immaculate condition, its value could soar as high as $90,000 and, in some cases, even reach $125,000. Yes, you heard that right. A single coin, originally worth just 1 cent, could now be valued at up to $125,000. That's more than just spare change, it's the kind of find that could change someone's life. So don't underestimate the coins you already own. Look carefully, do your research, and if you find something that looks even slightly unusual, consider having it professionally graded. Because one little coin from 1961 might just be the hidden treasure you've been waiting for. Top 4 what we're about to uncover could be sitting in your pocket change or tucked away in an old drawer without you even realizing it. Let's set the scene. It's 1963. America is in the midst of the Cold War. John F. Kennedy is in the White House. The Beatles are about to explode into American culture. The country is filled with hope, ambition, and innovation. While all of this was happening, the U.S. Mint was doing its part to keep the economy flowing, producing millions of coins for daily use. Among them, the humble Lincoln cent. At first glance, the 1963 D Lincoln penny looks just like any other. It's made of copper, has that familiar image of Abraham Lincoln on the front, and bears the small D mint mark beneath the date, indicating it was minted in Denver. But as any coin expert will tell you, not all coins are created equal. Some have hidden secrets that make them incredibly valuable. Now here's where things get interesting. Although the 1963 D pennies were produced by the millions, a small number of them left the mint with errors, minting mistakes so rare that they'd become the target of collectors and auction houses around the world. We're talking about double dies, repunched mint marks, off-center strikes, and even transitional planchet errors. These errors weren't supposed to happen. But when they did, they created a handful of coins that are now worth far more than anyone could have imagined at the time. One of the most well-known types of valuable 1963 D coins features a repunched mint mark. This happens when the small d under the date was struck more than once, slightly out of alignment. It may sound like a minor mistake, but in the coin collecting world, it's a big deal. These RPMs or repunched mint marks are rare and fascinating because they show a piece of the minting process that went wrong. They're historical artifacts that offer a glimpse into how coins were made during that era, and then there are the double die obverse coins. These are coins where parts of the design, like the date or the lettering, appear doubled due to a misalignment during the minting process. They're hard to spot unless you know what you're looking for, but when found, they can be worth a fortune. Now let's talk condition. A coin's value isn't just about rarity, it's also about how well it's been preserved. A 1963 D penny that's been in circulation for decades with scratches and discoloration might only be worth a few cents. But the same coin, in mint state condition, crisp, sharp, and untouched, could be worth hundreds, thousands, or even more. When a rare error coin is found in near perfect condition, its value can skyrocket, and here's the best part. These coins are still out there. They're not locked away in museums or private collections. They're sitting in old coin jars, forgotten in attics, stored in inherited boxes, or mixed in with other pennies at estate sales and flea markets. People are finding them, and when they do, their lives change. So here's the million-dollar question: what is a rare 1963 D penny really worth? Especially one with a visible minting error or in pristine condition. Well, hold on tight, because if you happen to find one of these rare 1963 D error coins in exceptional mint state, its value could range anywhere from $88,000 to $120,000. That's right. A single penny, a coin worth just 1 cent when it was minted, could now be valued at over $100,000. That's enough to buy a new car, pay off debt, or put a huge dent in a down payment for a home, all from one small copper coin that most people overlook. So take another look at your old coin collection. Go through those rolls of pennies. Check those forgotten boxes in the attic. Because the next person to find one of these rare coins could be you. Top 5. If you've ever sorted through an old coin jar or held onto a few coins just because they looked interesting, then today's story might just inspire you to take a second look, because one very special coin from 1978 could be hiding in plain sight. And if it's the right one, it might just be worth a small fortune. Let's go back for a moment to the year 1978. It was a time of change and transition. America was rebounding from the turbulence of the previous decade. Technology was advancing, music was evolving, and the space race was still capturing the imagination of millions. Meanwhile, at the US Mint, coins were being produced at a massive scale, feeding the growing economy and supplying the nation with the currency it needed. Among those coins was a series that many of us still recognize today, the Eisenhower dollar. Now, by 1978, the Eisenhower dollar was in its final year of production. After that, it would be replaced by the smaller and lighter Susan B. Anthony dollar. So in many ways, the 1978 coins marked the end of an era. Most people didn't think twice about these coins at the time. They were big, bulky, and often overlooked. But fast forward to today, and a select few of them have become incredibly rare and shockingly valuable. What makes some of these 1978 coins so special isn't just their age, it's their errors. That's right, in the world of coin collecting, mistakes are golden. A small minting error can make a coin go from being worth face value to being worth thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars. And when it comes to 1978, there are a few types of errors that have turned these coins into hidden treasures. Some of the most sought-after examples include off-center strikes, where the design isn't perfectly aligned on the coin. There are also double die errors, where parts of the lettering or design appear doubled due to a mistake during the striking process. Even more fascinating are transitional planchet errors, when a coin is struck using a metal blank intended for a different coin or year. These kinds of errors are incredibly rare, and collectors are willing to pay big for them now. Most 1978 Eisenhower dollars were made from a copper-nickel clad composition, especially the ones produced for circulation. But in a few very rare cases, some were mistakenly struck on leftover silver planchets from earlier years. If you happen to have one of these silver strikes from 1978, you've got something truly special. And believe it or not, it doesn't take much more than a keen eye and a little bit of knowledge to spot one. Condition is also a major factor. A circulated coin with scratches, dents, or wear might not attract much attention. But a 1978 coin that has been preserved in mint state, sharp details, brilliant luster, untouched by years of handling, that's a whole different story. Combine that kind of condition with a rare minting error, and now you're talking about serious collector value. These coins often show up in the most unexpected places. Estate sales, inherited collections, old safe boxes, or even rolls of dollar coins picked up at the bank. Some lucky collectors have stumbled across one without even realizing what they had until they did a little research and learned that their humble coin was actually something extraordinary. So if you have a 1978 US coin, especially an Eisenhower dollar, take the time to inspect it closely. Look at the edges, check for unusual weight, examine the lettering and numbers for any doubling, and see if it has that distinct silver shine. Because if it turns out to be one of the rare varieties from that year, its value could be far more than you ever expected. And now, for the part you've all been waiting for. If you happen to find a rare 1978 Eisenhower dollar with a minting error or transitional metal flaw, and especially if it's in pristine, uncirculated condition, its value could be anywhere from $65,000 to as much as $105,000. That's right. A coin you could hold in the palm of your hand, a coin once used in vending machines in casinos, might now be worth more than most luxury cars. So take a second look at your collection. What might have seemed ordinary yesterday could turn out to be your ticket to something extraordinary today. If you found this video interesting or helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more hidden coin treasures, and tap that notification bell so you never miss a future discovery. You never know what's still out there waiting to be found, and with a little luck and a sharp eye, the next incredible coin might just be yours. Thanks for watching, and happy hunting!